DirecTV's Fantasy Zone Senior Fantasy Football
Analyst.
Not expert.
I'm an expert, but that's not my title that I took the dissertation for. So every week we go over it. Senior Fantasy Football Analyst.
And you've got a podcast, Fantasy Football podcast?
The Fantasy Football Follies.
What does that mean?
It means I break down my winning picks week by week. And I'll tell you something. No, Rich. We could laugh. We could joke. Listen, I won a qualifying tournament, not once last week, but 2. Yeah, okay? I'm going to the big dance. Okay? I'm not playing around. If you want to win,
okay,
listen to the Fantasy Football Follies. It's not a joke. Like, I don't take myself seriously. Hey, and I don't do it for the money. I do it for the honey. But the fact of the matter is I won not one. Brockman will tell you, I won 2 qualifying tournaments.
What does that mean?
That means I'm playing. It means I'm out there playing on DraftKings. I'm destroying people. I'm like thwarting people. I'm kicking people. I won not 1, but 2 in 1 weekend. So listen to the Fantasy Football Follies. It's a culture of winning. It's on Barstool Sports. It's on iTunes. It's everywhere you need to listen. Right. They got bootleg copies down the street.
Okay.
Trust me, it's a culture of winning.
So give me your best. Give me your best for the weekend. Give me the tip. Give me the tip that the Senior Fantasy Football Analyst.
I'll tell you who's going to kick ass this weekend. He hasn't had the great games. You talked about it. He sounded like he was underwater, underground. Travis Kelce.
Yeah, well, Kelce's, I think, had that big beard. That's what I think he was just shoving that thing up his.
They paying him a lot of money, right? Get Travis. I'm a fan. Yeah. Get a real cell phone plan. you can afford it. Get yourself a real cell phone and a real cell phone plan. It's not the beard. You were being polite by saying it's the beard.
So you think Kelce's going to have a big Monday nighter?
Big Monday nighter versus Washington, because even the Raiders, who looked like doo-doo last week, their tight end got off this last week.
Jared Cook was getting some catches. That's true.
Their numbers. They've allowed 250 receiving yards versus tight ends this season. I look at my notes because I want to get it right. But if you want to just listen to me and you want to win,
you have. Look at my desk's filled with all sorts of papers.
Travis Kelce this weekend versus the Washington Redskins. He's going to kill it.
If you're going to be an expert, you got to say Kelce.
If you're going to be a tight end, a professional tight end, all-star tight end, you should get a cell phone plan. So it works both ways. I mean, the fact that you even let this guy talk on the show, you were being really polite. If I had called in with that kind of cell phone reception, you'd have hung up on me on live radio and television. Right. He's going to get off. You know who's not getting off?
Who?
Anybody with the Oakland Raiders. This is not a revenge game, the no-fly zone. And I'll tell you one thing. I love him as a player. I love him as a personality. I love him as a story. Marshawn Lynch is not fantasy football beast mode. He's exciting every time he gets the ball.
Right.
But the numbers are a matchup, and they're not going to get better.
Well, I want to put a pin in that conversation for your next segment because I have some thoughts, fantasy football-related thoughts on the Raiders and the Broncos as well. And I know you don't want to believe the hype on a lot of those Raiders. And I have a couple of cents to add on that subject.
Oh, please do.
For the moment, though, I need you to help me with this show, okay? Yes. We're celebrating our 3rd anniversary in a couple of weeks, right? Next week we're
October
celebrating.
6th.
Okay. So we're celebrating our 3rd year anniversary. One of the first segments we ever did was let's look at the schedule.
Yeah.
Let's look at the docket of NFL games and pick some games that nobody thinks is a marquee game, but we think it's going to be a good game. We call them sneaky good games.
Sneaky good games.
Is there anything incorrect about this setup, Brockman? Okay.
Things happen you might not expect.
Okay, so last week, one of the sneaky good games that Chris Brockman said was going to be a sneaky good game of week number 3 was Dolphins at Jets. Sneaky good game.
Not a sneaky good game.
The game turned out to be awful.
Really bad.
But the fact that the Jets were the ones in the blowout victory, but not the Dolphins, has caused Chris Brockman to say that was a sneaky good game.
So basically, you'll rationalize this segment being good any which way you can.
Well, that's what he's attempting to do, and I'm saying he does not get credit.
Did you expect the Jets to win last week?
Sneaky good game? No, I didn't take the Jets to win last week. And I'll tell you something. As far as fantasy and NFL stats, that touchdown that Jay Cutler got with 6 seconds, take it off any sort of books. If you own him in fantasy and you benefited from that, shame on you. The whole thing was disgusting.
It happens, man. It happens.
But the segment isn't let's pick an upset winner.
No.
The segment is let's pick up a game.
But part of that is sneaky good because, look, Jets fans, I imagine, were pretty happy with the turnout last week. And they had every reason going into the game to not feel good about it. And so, therefore, it ended up good. Is good in sneaky good games? Yes, good is part of sneaky good games.
Listen, you could rationalize this however you want. If you're going to say that was a sneaky good game for a small amount of Jets fans that are hanging on for dear life, so be it, Brockman. That's good.
Here's the deal. There were a lot of good games last week, so it was slim pickings for sneaky good games.
Well, don't complain. Don't complain.
I'm not complaining.
Be better.
I'm just explaining.
Be better.
Yeah.
Just be better.
Just as a perfect example.
Just be better.
This wasn't available to be chosen as a sneaky good game. Rams-Niners. Sneaky, that was a sneaky good game.
That wasn't a sneaky good game. That was a sneaky excellent. That was a sneaky one of the best games of the year.
Okay, but going
Thursday
into
night football.
Going into the game, no one thought that was going to be a good game.
Well, that's your job. That's your job.
That's what sneaky good games
are. And I'm telling you what your games are. So listen to me.
Okay, but that's your job. You didn't get it last week. That's your job.
Hit the drop. Hit the drop. Hit the drop.
God.
Here's Chris Brockman with Sneaky Good Games. Contests likely to surprise you with their heretofore undisclosed competitive value.
How about that? That's Tom Brokaw lending his voice and his gravitas to Sneaky Good Games. Go for it. Play the music, and you've got 3 Sneaky Good Games for us.
All right. Now, last week, one of my Sneaky Good Games was the London game. Again, and by the way, a result not everyone saw coming, which made it good. We're going back to London for Saints-Dolphins, okay?
Yeah.
Saints have a chance to right the ship, get back to 500. Dolphins are 1-1. The Saints are 3-point favorites here. They put up 34 points last week against a team that lost to the freaking Jets, okay? So, weird things happen in London. Willie Snead is back. The Dolphins are in a rough road stretch. LA, New York, now London. I like this to be sneaky good.
I'd like this to be a sneaky good game, and I'm already letting the game day morning folks know I'm choosing the Dolphins to win this one. The Miami Dolphins are going to win this football game.
How's that going to happen?
They are going to start the game. They're going to play it, and they are a much better team than what we saw in New York last week. I think that they are going to be very good in London.
I agree with that being a sneaky good game choice. I think that could be a sneaky good game shootout choice.
What are your other 2?
0-3 Giants at the 1-1 Bucks. Now, here's the deal. I don't know if the Bucks are as good as we all thought they were when the season started. Jameis Winston, when I squint my eyes a little bit, sort of looks like Josh Freeman back there. And I think the Giants get their first win of the year. Sneaky good.
Oh, okay. What's your third one?
Third one, someone has to win. It's the Battle of Ohio. We got 0-3 Cincinnati against 0-3 Cleveland.
Now you're talking.
Someone has to win. Andy Dalton, by the way, is not as bad as he's playing right now. Bengals get their first win.
Vontaze Burfict is back. Myles Garrett maybe going to get on the field.
But you know who leads the league in interceptions thrown this year? DeShone Kizer. I picked up the Cincinnati Bengals defense this weekend.
But again, this is what a sneaky good game's about. Nobody thinks this is going to be a good game. And this is going to be a tight contest where it's going to be in doubt with minutes to go. That's what a sneaky good game is.
I know what the segment is. We invented it.
The Battle of Ohio. Now, is the winner of the Battle of Ohio, like, that's kind of like being the king of Akron? It's like kind of it's like just that. Like, anybody could do it.
You get to hang with LeBron.
Okay, cool. And he doesn't care about either one of those teams. The self-anointed king of Akron doesn't even care about the Battle of Ohio. But I do agree that could be a good game.
He's a Cowboys fan.
By the way,
yes.
Isn't it Akron?
It's Akron, yeah.
Listen,
Travis Kelce is from Akron.
I want to say something.
So says Michael Rapaport.
Blame it on the New York City public school education system. I am a product, a failed product. I slipped through the cracks of the New York City public school education system.
Back in 60 seconds with the senior fantasy football analyst of DirecTV Fantasy Zone, Michael Rapaport. We'll talk about that Raiders-Broncos game when we come back. Okay, so you already said Travis Kelce is going to have a great week on Monday Night Football.
Yep.
Who else do you like this week?
Dez
fantasy play
finally is out of death row lineups. He'll have a better matchup this week versus the Rams. play him. He's going to do well.
Yeah, that's right. He had Jackrabbit Jenkins week 1, and then he had the no-fly zone in week 2.
Yes.
And then in obviously week 3, Patrick Peterson and the rest of the group. How about that touchdown he scored Monday night where he carried 7 people across the goal
Good play,
line?
tough play.
That was awesome.
And that was a Des Bryant play.
It was a Des Bryant play.
And I think the Cowboys are going to get on a roll. Unfortunately, I hate saying it because the New York Giants have less wins than the New York Jets.
That's unbelievable. That is unbelievable.
Yes.
So you like Dez, you like Travis Kelce.
I like but the don't believe the hype is where you stay away from. Stay away from every single person. And I have them and I love them. And it pains me to say Amari Cooper because I love him, but there's no feelings in fantasy.
Hey.
Don't do it. Do not do it.
I will tell you, our team in our league that we're in together, Alice in Chains, Vultures of the Ether, we have Derek Carr and Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper has 101 receiving yards on the season.
I know.
On the season, 10 catches for 101 yards. It has been mystifying. Crabtree's been getting everything in terms of targets, catches, touchdowns.
Aqib Talib last year snatched his chain off his neck.
So
this is not a good matchup.
We are on our fantasy benching Amari Cooper. I went and had it last night, Brockman. I think I texted you this. I picked up Trevor Siemian. We're playing him instead of Derek Carr in this game.
I have no problem with it.
However, what you said in the last segment about Marshawn Lynch.
Not a good fantasy football beast mode.
I understand that. But last year with Latavius Murray and the rest of that offensive line, they ran the same run and play against this Denver Broncos team 10 times in a row and just jammed it down their throat.
Okay.
So they have beast mode back there. I think this week may be the week that you see that beast being fed 20, 25 carries.
Okay.
And he's got his sea legs under him 3 games now. This is his 4th week back in the mix. That would be the way for the Raiders to win this football game.
That would be the way for them to win the game if they're going to give him the ball like that. But the Raiders don't play football like that. And,
they haven't.
But they might not try to force it this week and throw the ball because they ain't throwing anything. And Derek Carr, and I love Derek Carr.
Me too.
Under pressure, not good. When he's under pressure, he is not a good quarterback. And it was proven last week. When that pocket isn't clean, tough. And Amari and Crabtree's not even a.
I know he might not even be there, which leads. When I saw that, it led me to believe I might be crazy to bench Amari Cooper because this could be the week that he has a breakout, but not in this matchup against the no-fly zone. I don't like it at all.
I don't like it at all.
And so I'm taking your advice, and I benched Carr and I'm benching Cooper, and I'm seeing how that goes. Who else? What other hype do you not believe?
Melvin Gordon versus the Eagles. Melvin's
really?
a little. Yep. Don't do it. They got to. Don't do it. Just listen. I don't have to sit here and explain you the numbers. I'm just saying. I'll be back next Friday and say I told you so. That's what I'm gonna say. I told you the first 2 weeks. Don't mess around with Dez. This week I'm saying mess around with Dez. I don't want to get into the numbers and the highfalutin stuff. I'm just saying, don't do it. Don't believe the hype.
Okay, so that would take some serious. But we benched Jordan Howard last night against the against the Packers. And by the way, we did not see coming that grinded out 9-minute drive down 28. Did you see that last night?
I did. But I have a question.
Yes.
I feel like I come here to give the listeners and viewers of the show advice.
I'm making it personal.
No, but the thing that I feel like is like I'm executive producing your team that I'm competing against, and I don't like it. I feel like you're using my information, my think tank, to help your team benefit playing against me inevitably, and I don't like it. I'm here for the people, Rich.
I understand,
I'm not
Michael.
here to help you and Brockman.
I can't put earmuffs on with you sitting next to me.
I'm just saying, but I'm giving you this information, then you're transferring it over to Brockman like it came out of your think tank. It's coming out of this think tank.
You know, Brockman, I think if we had Melvin Gordon, we should have benched him today.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
And you know, traditionally,
yeah.
You know I'd be careful of? Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown, particularly Antonio Brown versus the Ravens. Now, they looked pathetic last week in London.
They weren't in London last week. They were in Chicago.
The Ravens.
The Ravens, okay.
Ravens.
See, I can't follow you. You said Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown, and they were bad last week.
They're playing
London.
the Ravens.
We were talking about the Ravens.
I'm saying the reason why I'm saying you should watch out for those guys is because they're playing the Ravens.
Got it.
I expect they got some sleep. And they need to have some sort of respect because Blake Bortles looked like, I don't know, Dan Marino, Terry Bradshaw.
It's funny. What do we say on Monday? That Blake Bortles, he's done so well in London. He's like the Jerry Lewis of quarterbacking.
That's funny.
People in Paris, they only know about Jerry Lewis. People in London, that Blake Bortles, they think He's the greatest quarterback of all time.
That's funny. He's like the prototype. He should be on a stamp over there.
That's it. He's the Montana.
Yeah. Well,
because of the way he plays for them.
This week, the Ravens defense is going to bounce back. Antonio and Le'Veon. I'm not saying don't start him, but in daily, especially watch out for Antonio Brown. His numbers are traditionally down. And Ben, the guy who throws Antonio the ball, somehow, some way, he stinks on the road.
I'm telling you, I was toying with the idea, and I'm still toying with the idea here. I'm telling you, I think I might choose the Ravens to win this game, period, on game day morning on Sunday.
Will you just say that Michael Rapaport suggested it? Ooh. Can you just at least give me some credit?
Have we been?
No, he mentioned it a couple days ago.
When? I didn't see it on the air. I watch the show all day, every day.
Can I
Let's
tell
go
you?
to the videotape. Like to quote the great Warner Wolf. Let's go to the videotape. Shout out to the great New York City broadcast. He's got to be in the Hall of Fame. Warner Wolf.
Warner Wolf, his best thing would always be, like, if somebody won by 47 points, and he'd say, if you had that team in 48 points, you lost.
He was the best.
Say that, man. Warner Wolf. I remember I grew up watching him.
Warner Wolf. Let's go to the videotape.
Now there's no such thing anymore. Before I let you go, what did you think of the Carmelo trade from the Knicks?
To be honest, I'm glad it's over. I'm glad the whole thing is over. I'm glad it's just not going to be talked about anymore. As frustrating as I think Carmelo is as a player, he was done wrong by the Knicks from Phil Jackson. I think it was disrespectful from the beginning to end. And I'm glad he's in a better situation. I'm so frustrated with the Knicks. They got Michael Beasley running around like this is like a circus act. Michael Beasley's making predictions about the team and how good he is, and then he's arguing about 10% of the. This is like a freak show we have at the Garden. So to answer your question, I'm glad he's gone. Good for him. The state of the NBA is concerning to me. Why? All these teams, Harden and CP3 and Russell Westbrook. Who, by the way, hasn't signed his extension. And let me tell you something. James Harden left OKC. Kevin Durant left OKC. Russell Westbrook hasn't signed his extension. There's something about OKC that's not right. And KD took the brunt of that, and I don't think it's fair. And by the way, I have no problem with KD. He just followed the LeBron James playbook. But there's something about OKC that people just... they don't commit right away to.
Well, I mean, with Paul George could walk, obviously.
Oh, he's not staying there.
Well, I mean, what if the three of them start actually, coalescing? And
45 games they'll win.
Come on.
45 games.
Come on.
45. They'll be competitive. 45 games.
I got to take the over on that. They're not going to be a 500 team.
Wow. 45 games. 45 games. It's not just easy. Look at like the Miami Heat. When they first did this Big Three thing, it doesn't just like click just because they're.
No, I know. How's it going to work? Right. It's not just
45
paper.
games.
They're not playing it on paper.
45 games.
Dwayne Wade's now with LeBron.
Oh God, the whole thing is a mess, man. The whole thing. They're a good team, though.
Well, look, I mean, they were able to hold on to Kevin Love. They signed Derrick Rose. They still have the rest of their core.
Kyle Korver's like the 11th best player on that team.
They now have obviously Dwayne Wade, and who could forget the king of Akron himself, LeBron James,
self-anointed king of Akron. I don't know why you want to be like the king of Akron. No disrespect to the great
There's
people.
no such place as Akron.
Akron?
Yes.
That takes a lot of effort, like a lot of brain, membrane has to Akron, king of Akron. How many names did I say wrong on the show?
It's all good. It's all good. Love having you on, brother.
I'm glad to be here.
One more time, pop your pod. What do you got? The podcast?
The Fantasy Football Follies.
Fantasy Football Follies. There you go.
It's a culture of winning.
And check him out, as always, on DirecTV's Fantasy Zone this Sunday
all
on
day.
Channel 704 on DirecTV.
The Rich Eisen Show. Weekdays at noon Eastern on radio stations across the country and audience.
Isn't it amazing you can download an app with your thumbprint? You should download our app with your thumbprint.